Hello, Standard 9. Your Arun sir, and going to teach biology, chapter 6, photosynthesis, and it is part 2. In the previous video, what we have discussed in the class, June class also, what is photosynthesis, why photosynthesis is necessary, that part is clear. And we discussed about plastids, that plastids are present only in plant cell, only in plant cell. And one type of plastid which we have discussed, and that is the chloroplast. Okay, that plastid is the chloroplast, which is green in color. I am not talking about chromoplast. Neither I am going to discuss about the leucoplast. I am going to discuss about the chloroplast. And diagram is necessary. And it will be asked to draw. How to draw the diagram of chloroplast? Let us discuss. First, it is a double-walled body. So elliptical or egg you will draw. Okay. After that, since it is double wall, so give double wall. See here, double wall. From here, bring here, and this will directly go here, and just turn it. Very clear or not? So do this way, and this do this. From here, one this side. Okay, and this is the diagram of a chloroplast, and it is ultrastructure. Ultrastructure means seen under electron microscope. This is the ultrastructure of a chloroplast. Ultrastructure of chloroplast. It means it is seen under electron microscope. And now this part, whatever the ground material is there, this part is the matrix, and matrix here is known as stroma. And inside the stroma, such rings-like things are present. Okay, here, there, whole matrix is filled with such, and this rings-like, this is called as grana. What it is called? Grana. Don't be confused with grana and granum. Grana is the plural and granum is singular. And one unit, let us see, one is like this, and one is called as thylakoid. What it is called? Thylakoid. And when thylakoids are arranged one over other, it is called as grana. Means what are grana? They are the rings of thylakoids. And this connecting link, this is called as fret. What it is called? Fret. So we have understood about grana, we have understood about the thylakoid, we have understood about the stroma, and about the fret. So this is the diagram, one very easy diagram showing ultrastructure of a chloroplast. And why chloroplast is necessary? That part is important, because these thylakoids, you can see 1, 2, 3 thylakoids are here. The walls of the thylakoid contain a green pigment, and that green pigment has got the capacity to convert solar energy into chemical energy. What pigment is that? That is the chlorophyll, the pigment present inside the walls of thylakoid. If location of chlorophyll is asked, your reply will be walls of thylakoid, and that green pigment is the chlorophyll. Very clear? Now the question arises, what is, okay, we have understood about the location of the chlorophyll. What is the location of chloroplast? Where chloroplast is located, where this plastid is located, all the green parts of the plant. Now, naturally in the leaves where? Between the upper epidermis and lower epidermis, palisade and spongy mesophyll cells are there. Palisade and spongy mesophyll cells. There, this chloroplast is located. Or in the green stem, this chloroplast is located. Or in the guard cell also. Where is that guard cell? Guard cell is present in the stomata. And there also, this in the stomata, this chlorophyll is located. Now, we are knowing only chlorophyll, but there are different types of chlorophyll. And two is very important. One is chlorophyll A and other is chlorophyll B. So many types of chlorophyll are there, and one is chlorophyll A. Okay, chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So that part is clear. Okay. Two types, that is important. And why chlorophyll appear green? Because it absorbs all other light and reflects only the green color. Very clear? If anything is appearing red, it means what? It is absorbing other color and reflecting the red color. Other color means what? How many colors are there? From where this color comes? Dear children, actually the sunlight radiates two types of rays. Sun radiates two types of rays. One is visible and other is invisible. Invisible, one example, ultraviolet, which is invisible, and we are not focusing on this. One ray, visible rays, these visible are made up of Gibbs-Ure, means white light. Gibbs-Ure, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. It means rainbow color. And when white light is passed through prism, on a spectrum, this Gibbs-Ure, these 7 colors are seen. Means white light is made up of 7 colors. And that 7 color is the Gibbs-Ure, and in Gibbs-Ure, if any color is visible, means other colors are absorbed and that color is not absorbed, that is reflected. So we can see that. So this chlorophyll appears green because other colors are absorbed and green color is reflected. That part is clear. Now, one very important thing I would like to discuss. Chlorophyll I am discussing. That due to presence of chlorophyll only the leaves are green. Have you ever done one thing? Have you covered a grass by brick? You must have covered. And if you will remove the brick after 2 days, what will happen? The grass will remain green in color? No. The grass will turn yellow. Grass will turn yellow. Why? What happened to the chlorophyll? Dear children, for regeneration of chlorophyll, light is necessary. For regeneration of chlorophyll, light is necessary or required. So regeneration will not take place. Whatever is that, that will remain. And in the absence of life, there is disintegration of chlorophyll. Disintegration of chlorophyll. So very important, give written question. Why a grass turns yellowish if it is covered by brick or a stone or any other thing for 2 or 3 days? The reason is regeneration of chlorophyll will not take place in the absence of light, and the chlorophyll whatever was present in the grass will disintegrate. So the grass will appear green. Yellowish. So that part is clear. Now we have discussed that chlorophyll is present in the walls of thylakoid. Thylakoid rings are called chlorophyll. Grana, and grana is present in the chloroplast. And location of chloroplast we have seen. One very important thing we have to discuss, that chloroplast is also present in the guard cell. And where the guard cell is present? Guard cell is present in the stomata. So let us discuss the diagram of a stomata. See how easy to draw. Very easy to draw a stomata. See here. Is it open stomata or closed stomata? Yes, it is open stomata. And this inner wall are thick. Keep in mind, this inner wall are thick, and this opening is called stomata. No, stroma. Whole apparatus is called, whole thing is called as stomata, and this opening is called a stoma. So don't be confused in stoma, stomata and stroma. 3 words. Stoma, stroma and stomata. Stomata is the whole thing. Stroma we have discussed. Stroma and grana, part of a chloroplast. And stoma is the opening. Opening is called a stoma, not a stroma. See the difference in spelling. So here we are discussing about the stoma. The opening is called a stoma, and this kidney shaped cell, they are the guard cell. And inner part of inner wall of the guard cell is thick and outer is thin. And guard cell also contain chloroplast. Means inside the guard cell also chloroplasts are present. Okay. And this here they are the epidermal cell or adjacent cell. They are the adjacent cells. So diagram we have understood, and it is diagram of a open stomata. Now, how a stomata opens and closes, that part is very, very important. The opening and closing of a stomata, we have heard that during daytime the stomata opens and during night time it closes. That is true. Opening of a stomata means what? This stoma will open, this pore will open. But how it opens? What happens that it opens? Is there any machine or battery that it will open and it will close? No. Opening and closing of a stomata depends on the turgidity of the guard cell. If guard cell is turgid, what will happen? The stomata will open. Because if it will become turgid, then inner wall which is thick and outer wall is thin, outer wall will bulge outside and less bulging will be there in the inner wall. As a result, this stoma will open. Means opening and closing of a stomata depends on the turgidity of the guard cell. And how the guard cell will become turgid? When it will contain sufficient amount of water. If sufficient amount of water is present in the guard cell, then only the guard cell will become turgid. And when the guard cell will become turgid, the stoma will open. Now our question, how the guard cell will become turgid? When it will absorb more water, from where water will be absorbed? The water will be absorbed from the adjacent cell, side cell. Water will be absorbed by this. Now the question arises, how the water will be absorbed? It means opening and closing of stomata, it has got two theories. Okay, and one thing, stomata actually opens for the diffusion of carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide can diffuse, can be taken from the atmosphere or can be released. As we release carbon dioxide, plant also will release, means there should be diffusion of carbon dioxide. Actually the stomata opens for the diffusion of carbon dioxide. And in the meanwhile, what will happen if the stomach opens? Carbon dioxide will go out and the water vapor will also go out. By which process? That process is transpiration. So one very interesting line is there that transpiration is the price which the plant pays for photosynthesis. Transpiration is the price which the plant pays for photosynthesis. Now, two theories related to opening and closing of stomata. Those two theories are one old theory, and that is sugar concentration theory. Sugar concentration theory. Dear children, what is there in the sugar concentration theory? In the sugar concentration theory, during daytime, when sunlight is available, this guard cell which contains chloroplast, this chloroplast will do the work of photosynthesis. And what are the end product of photosynthesis? Glucose. And glucose will increase the concentration of the solution. Glucose is formed and this solution will become more concentrated. And this is a semi-permeable membrane. Water will enter inside. In the osmosis also I have discussed that movement of water molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called as osmosis. By the process of osmosis, here that I have shown na thistle funnel and here one semi-permeable membrane, if we put in water and here sugar solution is there, the water level will go rise because water from outside will enter. The concentration of water is higher outside, nothing is mixed in water, and here concentration of water is less. Here concentration of solution is more and here concentration of solution is less. So water will move from adjacent cell to the guard cell. And when water will move to the guard cell will become turgid, and when it will become turgid, the stoma will open. And it takes place during daytime when photosynthesis works, and just opposite during the night time, and it will close because the guard cell will lose the turgidity. That is old theory. Now coming to the new theory, and the new theory is the potassium ion concentration theory. See here, potassium ion concentration theory. What is potassium ion concentration theory? Stomata will only open when the turgidity of the guard cell will be increased. The guard cell will become turgid, and it will become turgid when it will absorb water. But two theories are related to absorption of water. One is sugar concentration theory and other is the potassium. During daytime, this chloroplast which is present in the guard cell will do the work of photosynthesis. And in photosynthesis, with glucose, ATP is also formed. Do you know what is ATP? Yes, currency of energy. Adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine is a compound and 3 phosphate atoms are attached to it. So the name becomes adenosine and triphosphate. Very clear? It is called as currency of energy. This energy is formed in photosynthesis. And this energy is utilized to pull the potassium ion from adjacent cell to the guard cell. Means by forcefully, this energy will be utilized to push the potassium ion from adjacent cell to the guard cell. As a result, more amount of guard cell will contain potassium ion, and this ATP is used to actively pump the potassium ion of the adjacent cell into the guard cell, and gradient will become high. And when the gradient will become high, it will absorb water, and when water will be absorbed, the guard cell will become turgid and it will absorb more water, and the stoma will open. Just reverse process takes place during night time. During night time, this chloroplast will not do the photosynthesis, so ATP will not be formed, and when ATP is not formed, the guard cell will lose the turgidity and the guard cell will, stomata will close. So that part is clear. We have also discussed that this chloroplast is present in the mesophyll cell, and for photosynthesis carbon dioxide is required. By diffusion, the carbon dioxide enters the chloroplast. Now, we have also discussed that water is required and water is absorbed by the root from the soil. And one very important thing which I have to discuss, that is about the, I have told different definition of the photosynthesis, but one thing I want, that always write the balanced chemical equation. And you are knowing, let us discuss about the balanced chemical equation. 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of light and chlorophyll glucose is formed, C6H12O6 with glucose. Oxygen is given out, 6H2O, water is given out, and 6O2. This is the balanced chemical equation. Now, that part is clear. We have understood that this is the balanced chemical equation. My question, that 12H2O, 12 molecules of water is required, and you can see 6 molecules of water is released. Means taking 12 and half part is releasing? No, that is not the answer. It is taking 12 molecules of water for photosynthesis, and this water is not formed from the, not part of the original water. This is reformed. How it is reformed? This water of the product is reformed, and reformed by series of chemical reactions. Very clear. This released water, 6 molecules of water, is reformed by a series of chemical reactions. So that part is clear. Now, one more thing we have to discuss, that some part of the reaction, photosynthesis, takes place in the presence of light, and some part takes place in the absence of light. So, there are two phases of photosynthesis. two phases of photosynthesis. What are those two phases? First one is light dependent phase. Light dependent phase. And other is light independent phase. Light independent phase. And see here, light dependent phase takes place in the presence of light, and natural light is present during daytime. And I have told about the stroma and grana. It takes place in the grana because grana is made up of thylakoid, and the walls of thylakoid contain chlorophyll. So, and chlorophyll has got the capacity to convert solar energy into chemical energy. Means chlorophyll is necessary. So, it will take place during daytime or in the presence of light in the grana. And this light independent, no light is necessary. No light is necessary. It means it will take place during night time. No. During day and night, both it will take place, but it will not require light, so it is called light independent phase or light independent phase. Earlier it was called as dark phase, which is not true. Dark phase, not true. Simply it does not require light, and this requires light. Light dependent phase takes place during daytime in the grana, and light independent reaction where light is not necessary will simultaneously take place during daytime and night time also. But during night time, light dependent phase or light dependent reaction will not take place. This takes place in the grana, and this part, light independent, takes place in the stroma. Stroma of the chloroplast, and this will take place in the grana of the chloroplast. So dear children, today up to this much. In the next video, I will discuss the next part. Thank you very much.